feel
Feed
good.
me, daddy.
I feel good.
But I do have to go to the bathroom. I was just setting it up.
Oh, well then.
Yeah, why'd you hit record?
Record.
You motherfucker.
Go ahead, start it.
Oh my
So
god.
No,
I was-
go
You
go
gotta-
use the bathroom first. Let us
You
get in the
gotta-
right headspace.
All right.
You gotta go make a big push. So we're gonna be
Cut the recording.
No.
Go ahead,
It's
go
too
ahead, keep
late.
going.
We already hit record. It's
Here,
going
You want me to
now.
just keep this on so you have the sound?
Oh, the feedback.
Yeah, see, that started with that. I don't think this is gonna be a good.
It's
Let's just do a fresh
you
slate.
you are mistaken, my
Hear that?
friend. Yeah, the feedback.
Yeah, that's me. So just think about that
When you're shitting,
I gotta use it. How do you think
you
I
gotta.
How do you think I get it out of there?
Have you considered taking fiber pills? If you gotta
Fiber one.
massage out your shit,
Yeah,
then
you
maybe you gotta like guide it along your intestine. Like you gotta follow it. There's this.
Yeah.
You lift up your shirt and there's like a bulge, and you gotta like move it down along your intestine. Yeah, that's cool.
Jeez.
Anyway, what are those?
These are my beat sheets.
Beat sheets
These are beat sheets for story writing.
for for Star Trek specifically, or just general?
No,
stuff?
this is for novel writing, or also
Let me
script
see.
writing. Here, I'll give you a fresh, blank one.
I bet you could probably use those for role playing.
Oh, quite easily.
Oh. Hey. Oh wow. Okay, so it's like it's not just the hero's journey. It's like a combination of a lot of those, like the hero's
Yeah.
journey and then
Yeah.
the other.
This is
thing
the.
and
It's
then
called the Save the
whatever.
Cat beat sheet,
Okay.
developed by Blake Snyder. It has all 15 major beats that are in most of any fiction writing.
That's pretty cool.
It's like regularly. I think the main site themselves, they will post beat sheets, completed beat sheets of popular movies that come out. Like there's some of Inception, Interstellar, Fast and Furious movies. And they'll show exactly how each scene that's established is just fulfilling these simple steps.
I love that. I like it when, obviously storytelling's a lot more complex than follow these 15 steps, but at the same time it's not.
Yeah.
I love Dan Harmon's Story Circle.
Yeah, I've got that printed out on my desk.
Yeah, I got that shit memorized. Like, because I just when I'm running Birding Wheel or whatever, I just like go like, yep, that, and then we're here, and it's like, and then it just works. It
Yeah.
just fucking works, So that's a lot more complicated. So that makes sense if you're trying to write like a whole fucking novel and shit like that. That was really.
What's
gonna-
also complicated is the fact that for every point of view character that you have in a novel, you're supposed to use one of these each.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's a lot more
These
intense.
follow. This follows a character through an entire arc.
These are character based. Okay, I thought that was like a story play.
You can also do it. If you have just one main point of view,
Damn.
it could be the entire story. But-
You do shit fast. Do you just open and it all comes out?
It's weird that no, never mind.
It's weird. What? What?
Why would it?
Oh fuck! I know immediately where that's going.
Yeah. Why is it hard for you?
yeah.
I'm genuinely curious.
Why do you have to schedule an appointment?
Well, because-
you got to make reservations.
You have to make reservations. You
You
got to bring
think
out the
you would
wine.
just be
Matt,
like, there
you know
it
why?
is.
You know why it's difficult? Because I don't.
I made a boo boo.
My shit, Matt. That's why. That's why. That's why.
And you think that's a problem? Like, why don't you?
Why don't I?
Dude, I didn't keep track of fiber. I don't know. It's coffee. I mean, you drink coffee too, so.
Yeah, I drink coffee, but I guess my intestines are like.
Is it like
I don't know.
fiber blocker? coffee?
I don't. I
Fiber blocker?
I haven't kept track of fiber ever.
I never have.
Like I've just been waiting, and it's still not here. I don't have it.
Well,
Internet's still
as a
going as
kid-
slow as ever.
As
Yeah,
a kid,
yeah.
they still do, but Fiber One.
Yeah.
You know, the
Oh yeah, the
bars.
Fiber One. Yeah.
But like, I didn't have those anymore. They're expensive. I don't buy stupid candy bars anymore. But,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm
Wow,
doing
you
just
got
fine.
something against people who buy candy bars, huh?
Just get
I mean, the snack bars are just candy bars.
Ah.
They're so sugary. The Fiber ones were literally like candy bars.
They are. They
They're
really
like
are.
you taste a little bit of fiber, but literally it's a chocolate bar.
Dude, I just buy a thing of Metamucil and I take like 2 pills a day, and it helps a lot. It helps a ton. but like you got to get it established in a routine, and I haven't. This sounds like a conversation a 60-year-old man would
It
have.
really is.
It
Yeah.
really is, but it works.
We're
It works,
only
literally.
42, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mid-age gamers.
Yeah,
This is-
collect, on, if we take the mean average, it's probably 42.
I've
Yeah.
just hit menopause. Like it's not gonna.
Anyways, what
not
was-
quite there.
What was Casey talking about?
I don't know. What was I talking
He was talking about the beat sheets, which are cool, but man, one for each character. That especially makes sense for
I mean,
novel planning.
yeah, it
Like,
forces you.
What's
to
interesting?
get it.
What's interesting is the
Yeah.
fact that not all of these will be concurrent because a character that's introduced some point in like Act 2, theirs might start at another character's midpoint,
oh yeah,
and then in that case, their sheet is typically compressed in that amount of time to still within.
oh that's
fit
interesting.
Inside the same book.
That's a really good tool.
Yeah. It's been hard to use, as you can see. I still have plenty of blank space, but
Well, the reason why tools like that are hard to use, I find, isn't necessarily because the tool is hard to use, but because it's asking you to do things you haven't thought about.
yeah,
You know,
very much.
And
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
made to like
fuck.
completely flesh out something.
yeah, that's rad.
Because that was a NaNoWriMo thing, wasn't it? Or
No,
was that separate?
no. NaNoWriMo always it typically embraces
it had
discovery
a-
writing.
Not a lot of the time. A lot of the time, it talks about preparing a month before.
If
Wow.
They had tons of
they do have
tools.
like outlining
Yeah,
support. I
NaNoWriMo,
think
you're
they-
supposed to
I
start
think
a
they
month
bring
before it
up,
starts.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think they bring up the Save the Cat beat sheet.
I mean,
But-
I remember them talking about heavily plan before you start.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
think
the
it's
point.
actually anti-discovery.
Depends.
Because it knows it's
Most
hard.
people I know that do NaNoWriMo don't plan.
Right, but
Right.
are they doing it seriously?
Because really, the spirit of NaNoWriMo is jumping into something that you haven't started on, that you...
Well, you still plan on.
Yeah.
A lot of it,
Yeah.
NaNo is planning.
It's planning. It fronts the planning because when the month stops, you're supposed to enter this fugue state and just generate
well,
content.
but
know
you
what I
have
mean?
these ready, like what he has.
Yeah,
it's
that's
supposed to be.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Exactly.
a month before
Discovery with plans,
Yeah,
not
like,
complete discovery.
I would argue it's probably not even discovery. I think it makes sense to have that outline. You have everything as fleshed out as possible because when you jump in, you don't stop. You
Yeah,
just
yeah,
have
yeah.
all that stuff.
Exactly.
And just going,
I totally agree.
going,
It's
going,
filling
you
in the
know?
blanks that really it's super easy. Like you're just plugging it in.
Yeah.
I think the idea is you're just plugging all your stories in.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
cohesively. Yeah.
Are you? Like I know that you've been writing a lot of novels, or like writing a lot of writing a lot of novels. You know,
Even I like
you know
it.
what
I've
I mean.
been writing a lot of ideas.
Like, right.
Hoping they'll turn into something.
You're getting there. What I'm saying is
getting
you're
there.
doing
Yeah.
things. You're doing things.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fucking sick. Because I know we've talked about that before, but like, I do think it's cool that, you know, obviously you have some momentum, even if it's not like all the time or whatever. Every time we've talked or every time I've seen something going on, there's always something new,
Yeah.
more irons in the fire. It's not like NaNoWriMo, because I think a lot of people do is they do that one time a year when they're like, all right, it's finally time to write that novel or book and then fail fucking miserably like I
Yeah.
have every time. You
Yeah,
know what I
exactly.
mean?
Well, I mean, yours is usually a bit different.
Yeah.
You approach it completely different than
I-
Nano wants.
I know. I mean, it's
Which Nano still is like, just do something. I mean, it's not even about.
yeah.
Like a lot of the time, it's like,
Yeah.
just pick some goal. Like if you input stuff, it's like, just do something. Like you can do a blog every day, like what are you doing? But that's what it was. That it was
metric.
made for. Yeah.
I'm not. I don't think I'm gonna do it again. I also think because I kind of know what content I want to do now and kind of what I'm going down.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ever gonna end up trying something like that again. But I always wanted to. Like when I was a kid, the whole idea, writing for a living makes this all really difficult. Writing for a living
Yeah.
makes it really really
Yeah.
hard. But
Totally.
I think it's really cool that I could just live my childhood dreams vicariously through you. So that's cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice. No
Nice.
pressure, huh?
No
Yeah.
pressure.
Now
Yeah.
I've not gonna
You
have
better
my
start dancing,
dreams
boy.
And yours.
Yeah, if you don't, my
Jeez.
dreams are on your shoulders. You're like the Sisyphus of dreams.
Matt, you
Like,
got any dreams you want to add in before you know?
No, I want to do my own thing.
Has
Fuck
anyone
you.
got any other dreams I need to know about?
No, you do your own thing. I'm on my own side. I like to
Oh,
think
so
about.
now I'm too good for your. No,
Hell yeah, I'm on myself.
Damn.
I mean, you make me think about writing a lot.
Yeah, me
And
too.
my idea of like my problem is I like to read in order to write, but then I don't get to the next part.
yeah,
Yep.
that is a hard part.
I'm like I get inspired by these topics, but then like I always because it's funny because you talk about that, but then you've always had the mind of like picking up a topic and then being able to elaborate on it. Like
Right.
I remember that one time in like New Year's Eve, a long time ago, where we talked about a random gangster in Ireland, and you were going to make a whole game off of that. You weren't going to.
I remember that.
But you had
I
you
do
actually
remember
had
that.
a beat for beat step about how you would do it.
I
He was
did-
the guy
yeah.
who like owes you stuff or something.
Yep, I do. Oh my god, that's like some.
I remember that all the time. Is that
You're like-
how your mind can focus and actually
How do
elaborate
you-
really well?
How do you remember that?
I remember
I-
specific things.
Jesus, you're like the Nardwar of
No,
of
no, no.
role-playing.
Narwhal is Narwhal.
That's fucking. Oh my
Ben,
god.
everybody else remembers stuff. I just remember that as exemplifying how you can take something and expand upon it, and I just can't do that.
I mean, I think that's why I do appreciate that ability, but I'm the same way where it's like I could do that, I can have it all together, and then you sit down and it's time to generate content. I'm like, oh no, you know, like no, it's not happening.
It's
Oh, no,
it's
absolutely.
just too
So by the end of this month, I will have run 10 games of Burning Wheel. So
within
Damn.
the month.
within the month.
Wow.
So I have been running a lot of one shots, which have been super, super successful. And then my usual games. But the reason why this ties in is because like it's all about that. Like when you're running Burning Wheel, you literally just go like, you know, oh, wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't this be cool? Wouldn't this be cool? But then you have like 5 other people who can help you carry the weight in executing it. And if it's a one shot, you can kind of go as far as you want and be like, oh yeah, that's nice. We never have to go back, but that was kind of nice to think about. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's very ephemeral, but it's the same way. I can have all of the fun thinking about how I would do the story and then talking with people about the story and like we do and stuff and fleshing it out without actually having to put pen to paper.
yeah.
You know, that's why, and I've really hit my stride in that for I think that reason, because it's like, oh shit, this is the creative flow I want. This is what I want, because it's all the parts that I like and none of the parts I don't or
Yeah.
find that are really hard.
It's none of the work. It's not none of the hard pressing. Just figuring it out.
Yeah, you could do that.
I mean, just
I-
talk
yeah.
about the idea of echo. Just do it. Just think about echo, because like that's what like Casey talks about echo, Umberto Eco, which is just like, don't write when you're young because you suck.
Yeah, I mean,
His
that's
whole strategy, his whole thing, which is it's a lie. Echo is such a lying. He's such a liar because he's a heavy academic who writes constantly, but then he's like, don't write when you're young, and then Echo's writing the whole time when he's young. It's like
Well,
like it didn't help him later.
He specifically lamented to the fact that too many authors don't allow their ideas to, I guess, like ferment with them. Don't
Right.
allow them to grow and grow deeper in shades.
yeah,
And instead, like, will commit too early.
yeah. I think that's really astute. You know, I mean, there's this weird conflict where it's like I want to be able to get this out there and I want to get it done and move on, but at the same time, if I get this out here now, it's probably not going to be the way that it should be.
Yeah.
But so it's like you
But
don't want to be chasing
then there's-
perfection, but you also don't want to, you know, pop out a fucking, you know, like
Yeah, you don't
I-
want to pop out just
Pop
garbage that makes you cringe.
right, exactly, yeah, cringy
Um,
garbage.
But
Yep.
I mean, on the other side, then I've heard some authors say that really they could have been published 10 years before they actually were, if they just put it out there.
Right, because
Yeah.
they're
Because
like
they were
fucking dragging
too,
their
yeah,
feet.
they were too busy trying to.
There
make
is
sure
no
they were
right
doing it
answer.
right.
There is no fucking right
There
answer. You know. So what's
Is there?
your answer? What are you going for?
What's my answer? I want to get this fucking thing done.
Yeah, he wants to get something out. Yeah.
Right.
Well, because the whole thing is like in the field of what he's trying to do, he's gonna get like 100% of what he wants out, and then he'll have to go to the shredder, as in like the publisher,
Oh yeah.
who's gonna want it how they want to do it. So
Absolutely.
he has to get it to that point for them to completely change it,
right. Which
because it's going to change.
absolutely. But and
That's why it's a bit different. He has to get it
Yes.
to that point where someone can actually manipulate it. Not that you want it, but that's just that's how it works.
I feel like role playing games kind of prepare you for that in a way. Because the best laid plans, any ideas you have, any of
Yeah,
that
they're
stuff, the
obliterated.
moment it's given to other people. So that's the thing, right?
That's
writing
true.
is-
I didn't think about that.
Right,
Yeah.
writing is not a solitary thing as people seem to like to think it is, because you have the entire audience, you have your publisher, you have all these people who, get their say in your work. And what better way than to practice for that, prepare for that, than to say, hey, this happens, and someone who's sitting right across from you goes, no.
No, yeah.
I would have dicked around the tavern. Yeah.
No, I want to kick his ass. And it's like, that doesn't, I want more action. I want more fighting. And it's like, okay.
Little,
you know,
yeah, you're
like-
right. It's little like that. Like literally, a publisher will be like, "No, we don't like
That's
your
sort of
favorite
makes
character."
it easy.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
never. When you get comfortable with DMing, you should never feel typically like you're doing something wrong
Yeah.
because
yeah.
you're getting constant feedback. As long as you feed into that feedback, you're doing the game right.
Right. Yeah. I mean, obviously the feedback for something like this is going to take a lot longer, but I bet you if you got something out there, you leaned into it, that's what the beat sheets are for. You're figuring out a flow. Once you hit that flow, once you get through that experience once you have something in print, I bet you it's going to get a lot
I mean, this
easier.
largely comes from
And then it won't.
77 pages that I
Right.
then went back and found that it's all just different colored pieces of mud and clay just slapped against each other.
Hey, at least you got to the mud slapping
And
part.
it's kind of like
Yeah.
it's kind of shaped almost like it's got somewhere it's trying to go.
Right. It's shaped. It's compressed turds that are shaped like a
Yeah.
cuneiform tablet.
Yeah.
It's like the same. Yeah.
I'm not saying you're writing shit. I'm just saying I understand that feeling where it's like you. I think the furthest I've ever gotten, I got to like 120 pages on something once. And was like, "Yup, this is shit," and then was just like,
Yeah.
"All right, like
That's just
that
how it is. Yeah.
It really,
You just
really
gotta
is.
get through it.
That oh my god,
Yeah.
I've actually that's
Yeah.
giving me flashbacks to like some of the shit I did.
Looking
Man.
out back at what I wrote, most of it is incoherent mumbling and just cool things thrown in the middle.
Hell yeah,
With,
But it's out
with
there.
weird camera angles. What I wrote is more like a French art house film version of
Yeah.
a story
Kinda
than
is.
an actual story.
I would agree with the writings I read. Yeah. It's very. I'm like, what? What's going
It's
on?
like
He's like, what do you
You're like-
mean?
You're like, wow, I really like the words. I just wish I knew where they were being put.
John
What is-
Deere and John
so-
Doe are doing stuff, and I'm like, who?
So this is the first 60 pages, Casey, are just some French chick staring longingly in beautiful shots at a beautiful horizon, and then 10 pages of her killing her entire family with a shotgun.
Or
Could you like
with 5 pages of 2 unrelated guys arguing about a hot dog and whether the one down the street is better than the one up north.
you know what they call a Big Mac with cheese?
or an hour movie,
pound of cheese.
an hour of a 2-hour movie of just driving.
Just try, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
Or I mean,
goodness.
it was 10 minutes, but
Which
Russian
one?
film,
So,
Solaris.
Yeah, Solaris. We started watching
like
it.
10 minutes
Wait,
straight.
Solaris.
That's the guy who did Stalker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
10 minutes straight of just driving.
It
that
was-
sounds
Or more like 2. Or
correct.
like, it was probably 2, but it felt like 10.
It felt
That-
no, it was more than 2
that
minutes.
director, it everything
Slow
he does
shots.
feels very long.
Yeah. We finally got
think,
to space in an hour in.
I think the Stalker, literally the whole sequence, starting from when the Stalker like wakes up in the day and then all the way up until he gets into the zone, is probably one of the best. It's like a movie in its own right, like him trying to get these guys and sneaking into the zone. Who are these people and who's this mystery? Like
Yep.
that whole sequence alone is like a movie into it in and of itself, and it feels it's only like. Maybe like 15, 20 minutes, I guess, and it feels super
feels
long.
forever.
It feels forever, especially when you're like, oh, wow, how far are we in? 2.5 hours
Yeah,
more
we would
left.
pause
Okay,
the movie and be like, Jesus,
Jesus
Yeah.
fucking Christ, yeah.
hurry it up.
Now that guy needs a fucking editor.
Isn't that like the style of Russian films at the time? I mean, I
It
know this is a
was,
sidetrack thing
yeah.
we're talking about.
I mean, yeah.
No, it was.
Most. I mean, movies were at least 2 hours long.
Yeah,
3
and
hours
they would
many
just
times,
they would
4
just
hours.
meditate
Right.
on stuff. Like
Look how they wrote fucking novels. Look at fucking Crime and Punishment. Look at anything Dostoevsky wrote. It's all sad and meditative and long.
I would have to do audiobooks of that. I couldn't stand reading that much.
You should do
Yeah.
an audiobook of Crime and Punishment.
Yeah.
We just listen to you, just a straight reading. You're reading it for the first time and you're doing an audiobook of it, and we listen to you slowly deteriorate. In the
That,
fucking...
I've always said Matt should do an audiobook.
I'm trying to
because-
do an audiobook of Dante's Inferno.
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah, I've done like one
I
or
like
two.
that.
It's just I'm not good at pronouncing things, so it's hard. And it's an Italian fucking novel.
Yeah, no.
So I would have to stop
But
a
the
lot.
thing is,
Buongiorno.
that's what I enjoy about you is the fact that just other words will get in there somehow, and it kind of just changes. It just throws the angle off just enough for you to be like, oh, this is kind of fun. It doesn't quite make sense, but it's fun.
I have to get a good.
I like that.
translation
Just do a bad audiobook series.
now. Oh god.
Like, just
I'll be
intentionally
sincere
like,
and
yeah,
I'll call.
whatever.
I'll be sincere and I'll call it the bad audiobook series.
Yeah.
I do want to though. That's the thing I've always wanted to just go over, but it's I just there was one point where I was trying to do a poetry a day, where I was just reading it constantly, and
that's
then I did
cool.
a nice one.
Mm.
I did
Oh
a
yeah,
couple.
no, I think I remember you doing that.
Yeah, I had this. I forgot I wanted to do that again.
That's cool.
I
You
haven't
should.
gotten to it.
That's. I think that's a cool project.
You forgot.
To do.
Wait, you said you forgot what you wanted to do.
No, I just didn't feel like doing it again.
Oh, and then you.
I was gonna get
forgot.
back into it. I just needed to set this up. I think even last week I was like, oh, I need to set this back up. So then
Yeah.
like every day I could just pick out something, read it over out loud a lot, and then I can get practice saying things.
Well, it's back up now. You got it all hooked up now.
No, it was in my room. It's not like I was. This is the most least abrasive thing to set up. Like
Right.
as you could see, it's like fucking. I could just do it,
It's pretty cool.
and then I just save it in a file and stuff. But
Yeah, I would love to hear more of that. That'd be fucking sick. I like that everybody's got their own things going on. Everyone's got their projects.
I mostly just read really really weird stuff.
We should
Yeah,
do
I'm with it.
we should do
I
a
need to read
dual
more.
audiobook reading where we take different parts.
Yeah,
Could be fun.
I
That'd be
mean,
cool.
yeah, I guess you couldn't do it in the Inferno, but
Yeah, I
because
mean,
Virgil's not talking all the time.
no. It's hard too when like you have these books where instead of people having dialogue, it's like, oh, and he said this, or you know. what I
True.
mean?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
hard to have
In
multiple
the
readers.
Inferno, yeah, there's probably pros that do that because there's like there's some that make it more of a novel, and then most of them will try to be poetic, but some of them will like try to make it more of like an actual story.
Yeah.
So they'll do that.
Every time Dante faints, you should make it like sound like you think he's really fucking pathetic. Like you know, and well, like you're narrating, you're like, and Dante fainted again.
Yeah, you just
Fuck.
you add a big sigh. Like the first
It's
time
a lot
it's
of
like,
fainting.
He fainted.
and Dante fainted.
I mean, he
Second
faints
time,
in like
and
every other canto in the
Dante
beginning.
fainted. Third time, Dante fainted. Fourth time,
I think he faints in like
Dante fainted.
He faints
Only,
like
like-
every circle, dude.
like every
'cause-
other circle.
Because Dante has no
gets
other
better.
way to be like, oh, and here's how he got to the next level. It's usually like,
didn't know
and
that.
he blacked
Yeah.
out, and
Well,
now he's
it's-
on the next level of hell.
It's also a commentary on like the nativity, like not nativity, but like him being not understanding sin. So a lot of the time he would like, in the beginning he would like, really feel empathetic for the people in sin, but their whole thing is that like all their sin is not their fault. Like a lot of the beginning, or a lot of mostly hell is them not understanding how it's their fault while they're there.
Yeah.
Like they'll be like, "Yeah, I embezzled money because someone else did it," or "I was in lust because I read an erotic novel with someone I shouldn't have been with anyways."
right.
And then, that like one of the lust cantos, he faints because he just feels so bad. And then Virgil's like, "Go shut the fuck up. You have to get these people are lying to you. This is their story they're telling you, and they're not even taking responsibility for their lives."
Right. They're just blaming other people.
Yeah,
for
and
the
so
fact
he
they're in
faints a
hell,
lot,
yeah.
but then he slowly like understands and the point is he understands to not understand because there's pagans in heaven, and they can't understand that. The whole
So
thing is that
he's-
you shouldn't try to understand God.
You should try to understand divinity, basically.
Yeah. There's things like pagans in heaven.
Yeah.
And get over yourself.
And he fainted.
Probably in heaven. Yeah.
No, that's a good
But
point.
yeah, don't
That's
get
a
me
really
on
good
as
way to-
Inferno. I can go on forever.
No, I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. I haven't read Paradiso or Purgatorio, so I didn't realize that there was this whole commentary of you will never understand the divine. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of like subtle stuff. There's like that's the whole thing is like, oh, the Inferno is what he hated, and it was like, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
He puts his mentor in Inferno. Like people he likes, he puts in Inferno. He talks about a lot about being sad because he sees people he likes in Inferno.
Yeah.
And then people he had no idea about or hear about are Purgatorio. Like awful people are like, yeah, I was like, God saved me before I died after killing 1,000 people, and then I'm here.
Oh,
And there's people that did way less in Inferno.
it's almost worse than like being in a place where it's like, you know, because I mean, it's just like where it's like, oh, God doesn't exist and whatever, and there's nothing after death. That's one thing, but to like there is something after death and it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
you cannot comprehend it from a human perspective. That's worse. It's like being abducted by aliens when you die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I have no way to really rationalize what's going on, and
Yeah.
now I'm stuck here forever. And might be in a lot of pain.
Yeah, I mean, I was just telling Hasty, I was just starting to read something. I feel like we're really off the general topic, but it was called
We'll come back.
Horror of Philosophy. So not the philosophy of horror, but the horror of philosophy, which is discussion on like literature and how there's literature on the world for us, the world without us, and then the world as it is. So how we conceptualize the world for us. So like, you know, like we use machines to take the earth, and we live in the world, such as pagan magic, where you use esoteric magic to do what you with it,
Mm-hmm.
and there's magic you don't understand. So yeah, there's a world without us, which is us conceptualizing demonic figures and H.P. Lovecraft things that come in and have no care at all. And then there's world without us, which is one of the most difficult things to understand, because how can you see a world without some
Right.
eyes?
It's like
Even with eyes, without them.
like I've heard, like, it's like when people say, it's like, oh man, I don't want to die. It's like going to be blackness forever. And it's like, no, you're not going to be conscious. You're not going to even recognize as a thing. But you can't imagine being
It's impossible.
not conscious. Yeah,
And that's the
exactly.
literature.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just it's discussions on like.
I
how
mean,
we see
I think
things.
it'd probably be like, yeah, you just can't, you can't,
It
does
can't do
like
it.
that,
huh?
yeah, uh-huh.
It's
Uh-huh.
I tried.
our
I'll put a
minds
sensor
are
in there
literally
just so people
attaching
can-
ourselves.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I think it's probably like, uh-oh.
uh-oh.
I actually have to go through. So I switched us over to Spotify. Us.
I saw.
yeah.
That's
Oh.
why a
I
separate
can
thing.
say
I'll
I'm on Spotify now.
You
Well,
are on Spotify now.
A
yeah.
separate thing I'll talk about in a second was because you did that. I might read something.
Oh?
But go ahead. Where you continue your thought.
Okay. Like read something now?
No.
What do you mean read something?
Okay.
I just talked about it. I listened
Do
to
it on Spotify?
I listened to one of our podcasts again, just like kind of skim through it, and you talked about you were going to read something about the Grey Mouser, and I was thinking about reading that.
Oh yeah, the
Fred Lieber or something.
Ilmetten Lenkmar, the Fritz Lieber.
Yeah,
that's
because you just vaguely talked about those books. Because obviously at the time I was finished Dying Earth.
I still want to do the fuck
Okay.
book club shit. I still want to do it.
Okay.
It's still gonna happen, man.
All
I just shut the fuck up. Yeah.
Actually, I didn't go through it.
Don't give me that laugh
Yeah,
track
that's
bullshit. Don't give me that.
Weird.
I want to make it happen because I want to do Ilmet Linkmar. I want to do all that stuff. But what was I gonna say? Oh no,
We did post
the
Spotify.
Hanzo episode. I have to re-edit that because instead of having the bleeps, I want to use the kid pick stuff.
I still
like
haven't
did.
heard the kid picks yet, and I want to because like whoa,
There's one episode. I think it's right now it's episode 2 because right now there is no episode 1 uploaded because that's the Hanzo one. It's just 2,
Yeah.
3, and 4. And then I
Why
gotta
the
upload
Hanzo
5, and then this will be 6. So I gotta replace all of the beep. I gotta replace that with oh no.
I have to hear
Like,
that.
Jeez.
That's gonna
I
be a lot
never-
of fun.
I always forget because I always wanted to hear that.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. undo.
I haven't heard him.
That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Sounds like it.
But I gotta, because I don't know, like I feel like that starting with that episode was the moment when it was like all of our, like I've got the format down, I've got equipment that I can ensure like the quality of it, like I still have everything before then, like I was still saving it, I've like archived it,
Yeah.
but I'm kind of just like, all right, I think this is the good starting point, and then I've just going on from there. It just so happens that the first really good starting point is like half censored.
I'm like, what? Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I guess it was. I'd have to listen to it.
What a horrible beginning.
Yeah, because we were surprised. We were surprised because it was just so far. It was just us.
I mean,
in the
yeah,
beginning.
that.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have any
it was
Patrick
just
ones?
us.
I'm gonna get new ones. So
Okay.
right now, all of the official episodes are now just us. But
Yeah, I was like,
get-
I guess we're special.
I mean, that
you guys
episode-
are special. Will was talking about even how this is like the best dynamic we've had on the podcast like yet.
Oh, nice.
So
the Hanzo one.
well, I mean, one of the.
I mean,
just
that
us
was
in
pretty great.
general.
That
It was
episode
pretty
was
good.
a need for catharsis. After we saw it, we had
And
to
then you
work
saw it
through
too.
Yeah, all
And
three of
you
you're
us.
see
like,
it.
"Hey, I'm coming over. We're gonna cast," and I'm like, "Okay, we gotta bring this
we
up."
gotta bring it up.
we can't just sit through an hour or two and not. I mean,
No.
it's running in both the back
It's
of
not
our
like it's a
minds.
podcast.
We had to bring
movie
it up.
podcast. It's
Right.
just a. Oh shit!
It wasn't a desire of discussion. It was a
It was
necessity.
it was an outlet, and now that's the first. I think that's a first. If you can make it past that episode, you can make it past any of the rest of them.
I guess so.
Yeah, I guess so.
But but yeah, I'm gonna get everybody else back on. Like I'm gonna get Pat back on. I'm gonna get Will back on. I'm gonna do a lot of episodes with Red and Zach. I should just inform the viewers that it's like, yeah, this is what we're doing right now is technically overall like episode 27, but there's only now there's gonna be 21 unaired episodes now. Which is a lot of content that's just missing. And
Rare episodes.
yeah, they're the rare episodes. I'll release them maybe.
I mean,
like-
because you were talking to I think
Eventually.
Will, and you had one I listened to. Which was like heavily game stuff. I
It
thought
was.
you'd keep that one.
no, I think what's
That one's
gonna-
like really in-depth game stuff that I thought you'd want to talk about.
we still have that. Like we still have the bracket that we're gonna use, so we're still gonna come back to that.
Mm.
Like I mean, here's the problem though, right? In that one, the quality wasn't where I wanted it to be. Like,
I
didn't have
guess
the right
so. It sounded
workflow.
fine.
It was all right, I guess. Like I mean, never in any of the ones that I have was I like, oh, the content's bad. It's literally just been like the production or like kind of what I want to do with this. And I think after doing this with you guys, maybe be like I wanted to be more like what we do every time because this is really good. So I think now that I've kind of hit the stride with it. So now I feel more comfortable. I got a Buzzsprout thing, so I've got 3 hours a month that I can upload. And I feel like originally I was using YouTube because I was like, I want to do more than that. What if I want to upload more than like 2 hours for the free one? And now I'm kind of like, no, yeah, I mean, that like 2 episodes a month, I think that's a pretty good goal.
Yeah, you might go
Oh,
beyond
three,
that.
you know,
someday.
yeah. So I think that's what I'm shooting for. Is I'm going to be wrangling everyone who's been on it, Trevor, Will, Red, Isaac, everybody, and then just trying to be like, hey, I've got 3 hours to fill this month. Who wants to help me fill it? And then just
Yeah.
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 So what was that for?
Nothing.
3 hours to fill.
Nothing.
All right,
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Weird. Your mind's in a gutter.
gotta fill. It's not my fault.
It's not?
It's my fault when I'm sitting across two fucking hotties. You know what I'm saying?
What?
So it's come to this.
Physical comment doesn't work on an audio
Jimmy,
format.
Jimmy, why do you have us wear mirrors this whole time? It's really
Mirrors?
weird.
Okay, hold on. Like on, like on
We're
your
always
face?
behind
Like,
mirrors.
mirrors?
We're always just behind mirrors with him.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, is this some sort of weird, like, fucking, like, persona for, like, fucking you got mirrors on your face and it's some sort of metaphor or whatever?
No,
like, what-
you just when you first wanted to do this, you described you want us to have walled mirrors
Oh,
and in front of both of us so you can see yourself, so you can do expressions
Yeah.
or something. I don't
Because
know.
you
That's what
kept
you
saying
talking.
you really like to see yourself in us.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a weird expression.
And
but
then you brought the big mirrors.
I guess I can see it's kind of, but now I know what you mean.
right.
Yeah, just big ass mirrors.
And now, yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to breathe in these boxes.
Yeah, the sound quality does not describe the
Yeah, that's-
humidity.
that's why
Mirrors
the quality's
leave
been so
no
difficult.
ventilation. There's no
Yeah.
porousness.
I mean, that's why you got to strip down before you get in them. I told you before.
And like the lights, why do we need all these lights? It's just with the mirrors, I feel like I'm being baked.
Yeah, halogen lights are really hot.
The halogen light.
Baking.
And what's with the? Are these lenses in these lights? Are you recording me? Like,
Went to the doctor. He's like, "You've got to stop suntanning." I'm not suntanning. I'm just doing podcasts.
I'm just doing podcasts. Yeah,
Jimmy
what
maybe
the
get in the mirror box so he could see himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, this fucked up jigsaw contraption that you guys just unquestioningly or just very like non-committally question getting into.
You gotta do what you gotta do to get inspiration.
Look, yeah. You got to get the sponsorship money. There's none of that yet. Wouldn't that be cool if we had to do ad reads?
That'd be horrible.
Dude, wouldn't that be the
Wouldn't it be
weirdest
cool?
thing to be like in the future? Be like, I guess this is our job. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, it happens to some people
I would intentionally fuck up those ad reads. Like they'd be like, "Here, send me
until
this."
you get
Oh,
enough
fuck me.
money.
I mean, honestly, I love those the most when it's the literal people doing the podcast doing ad reads and they just don't give a shit. That
Yeah.
makes me want to buy the product.
It's funny.
Much more.
It's funny, isn't it? I like it when the ad reads themselves are like their own bits.
Yes.
And then you're like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, now I'm paying much more attention to the product, even though the things they're saying about the product aren't true. But these fucking boomers will never understand that. Marketing's a boomer thing.
Mark Maron's funny because he has a serious ad reads. In one of his 100th episodes, I haven't listened to him in a while. One of his 100 episodes was joking about how he was so professional with it. So he was talking about something serious and actually started crying and immediately shut to an ad. And this is not cutting away. This is literally him in person, like picking up a paper and reading an ad and completely lost it. Like they played the clip. You can't understand because like the context, but it was him like finishing a cry and then switch over to ad.
So yeah, I just, I couldn't make it. And she was apparently asking for me before she died, but I just couldn't get there. And I think about that a lot. And when you really need to get your dick hard in those moments, and it's not, it's a chewable thing, and you get blue chew.
It was like it wasn't even transition. Yeah, it was like
Blue chew
weird.
for when times get
Or
hard.
times get really hard to make times hard. Like
Yeah.
when I lost my mother.
It was just weird because I think the producer was just joking with him. He's like, "What the hell?" He was just like, he just immediately went to ad.
That's like sociopathic. Like he's just like, it's like the veil has been lifted. He's just able to turn that shit on and off.
Yeah, and I think he like records it now, like most everyone else.
Right.
But there's some, there's some times when a lot of people you can tell a lot of people do it during, and then
Yeah.
eventually they just do a pre-record when they have time. I guess I don't know.
Pretty. Yeah.
They eventually just do it
I
separately.
thought everyone did it pre-records. Doing it live sounds really difficult.
I think it was
I've
it
heard
was
it.
something at the time.
yeah.
It's something that probably can still happen, but it's something that like at a certain time of
Well-
podcast, everyone would just do it live.
I mean, Writing Excuses does it for because their thing's based off of Audible, so they just literally mention books halfway through the podcast. They suggest a book each week, and they also link their subscription specifically for it.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, but they don't.
Yeah,
They don't. They
but they're
just,
also
they just literally go,
writing,
okay,
so-
now it's
Yeah,
the time.
yeah.
Break for this book. Let's talk about this book for like 2 minutes. Talk about the book and like, yeah, it's a good book. Get the book.
Yeah, it's
Anyway,
easier
back to
transition
our-
when you're
Yeah.
specifically about writing.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, you get like YouTubers that would do Audible at one point, and then they just, if
It's
they
just a
would just
fucking
like,
train
you're like, I
wreck.
guess you read. I don't know.
Yeah. You don't look like a reader. I don't know why Audible picked you.
Yeah, and they pick books. You can tell they just like, it's not a bad thing. It's just like they pick books that are like, I think you just don't read that much.
This was on the New York Times #1 bestsellers list. There's no way it could be bad. So if I pick this book, it'll look.
Yeah, and sometimes you get like, oh no, they read them out, or like they're like a bread tuber, so they pick a topic,
Yeah.
and then they're like, yeah, okay, this topic was literally now an advertisement.
Yeah, but then it's like, here's some esoteric like textbook.
But sometimes they're like talking about real basic stuff.
My favorite
Yeah.
has to be Internet Comment Etiquette, which just trashes every ad with like the most. You could never get any of those ads approved.
No.
on, like a major board,
no.
but they're seamless now these days with how he does them.
Oh yeah,
They're
I haven't listened in a
completely
while.
seamless with the skits and the
Because he
content
does
that
skits.
does.
Because he does skits specifically for
Yeah,
it, which
that's
they're
really
even
funny.
better because they're like completely like the skits are their own short movie.
Yeah.
And then it's also an ad, but it's really literally just a short movie.
Yeah, so
That's
it goes, oh,
interesting.
now it's time for an ad. Oh, well, it's still more content.
And it's a short movie.
Right, yeah.
It's like completely separate short movie.
That's what I like. Is I don't feel like, I mean, in that arguably effective marketing is you don't feel like you're being advertised to.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like people get it. It's just the way he just puts way more effort. Like there's some people that put a lot of effort into making the ad just actually enjoyable.
Right. Right.
And you can tell like editing wise, you're like, oh wow, they like actually put effort. I
So
hope
we
they
need
get
to come
paid.
up with a plan
This-
for that now.
This whole time I've been trying to sneak in another reference to Blue Chew, but it just hasn't come up. It just hasn't. But you know what does
it
help
just-
things come up? Yeah, okay.
what does come up.
Speaking of fucking advertising, you know what I've been seeing on Facebook a lot?
What?
There is a guy who's local to us who's advertising himself as a professional DM.
I have seen that.
You've seen that?
Yes. Some people have been able to do that in like major cities. New York City. There's like 3 people that I've seen that have been able to do it professionally.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And that's because they're able to set up sessions for people that are like in high
Silicon
you know,
Valley.
Yeah,
types.
Silicon Valley or just high-paced business.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
they
it's
don't
like
have
tailored
time.
to that lifestyle.
Yeah, so it's being able to
interesting.
just literally jump into a game, play. and get back to life.
I see the need. I could see that very niche need for it. I think the reason why I find that idea like so, like, look, I'm not gonna disrespect anybody for their hustle except for this guy. Like, I'm totally gonna slander
I've
his
seen
ass.
the ad. It was
Yeah.
like, oh man.
Well, because you see it as like board games, kind
Well,
of.
it's a social experience.
Yeah.
It's not something that I would. I'm confident in my abilities as a DM. I would never charge. You know what I mean? Like, even if it was like I would either, if I was asked to do like a really intense like one shot or something like that, some sort of engagement, I would either do it because I wanted to or choose not to do it. I wouldn't ask for money because that feels weird.
I thought
You know what
about
I'm saying?
I've thought
Like,
about charging before,
yeah.
quite honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he has.
but no, that was.
I want to know who you thought of charging.
Oh, I thought of charging you guys. I mean, so no,
God damn it!
specifically, it was when I started like building a whole lot of physical sets.
Yeah,
and
we were
everything.
just.
Oh,
it was
And
going to
I
be
thought, like,
contributing.
Yeah, I thought
that's
it'd be like,
different.
Yeah.
if I could keep up a pace and like if people would pitch in and like we had a pool, maybe just like $5 a month
yeah.
or something.
Yeah, it is
and I
different,
could crank
though.
out really cool stuff.
I would fucking do that. You absolutely should have asked. That would have been kick ass.
Well, then I found out I really wasn't good at crafting really cool stuff. in
And
short
now
time.
you know
Yeah.
Ryan, who
Yeah.
is very much
Oh,
into that.
Ryan is the best.
but it still
no
takes
one
him
can...
forever, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, he switched to Tailspire now, and
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
he's been making ridiculous amounts of hours into that
That kicks ass.
program.
Yeah, we've tried it
Um,
once. So
Now
far.
he should start charging for that. That's something he should start fucking doing. Is charging for like modeling.
I mean,
for
yeah,
stuff
he does
like
take
that.
a long time, which is like fine with us.
Yeah.
I'd pay his ass to get it to help us get. I mean, I
Because
don't
he was
use
doing
maps in my
physical
games, but-
models
Yeah.
for a while,
I
like just
remember.
elaborate physical
Well,
models.
he
remember
studied
the
like
pictures. It's really
architecture
fucking
and
cool.
like visual design and stuff in college, so that's just he's always known how to work that way.
It's one of those things, and then he's like, "Hey, I want to know someone who plays
Yeah.
D&D."
That's why.
Yeah.
When I introduced him into D&D, it was like just a few sessions, and all doing mostly theater of the mind. I had a few maps that I drew out so I could get them in. Yeah, I first did theater of the mind to get everyone into the idea of what D&D is supposed to be, and then started adding maps for trying to figure out actual like competency with game system and understanding how a mapped board would work.
Right.
And then after that, it just quickly was like, I think I want to DM my own thing. And proceeded to just start off building a few simple things. And then it just
Full-blown.
exponentially increasing in
Complexity.
Well, he found his
Production.
fucking thing.
Yeah.
He found the thing that he's coming to the game for.
Yeah, it was
You know
quick.
what I mean?
It
That's
was quick.
cool.
I didn't play because he DM'd for them. I didn't play in that game, but yeah, afterwards, I was like, this guy's just gonna DM now. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
That definitely makes sense for him.
It definitely from what I remember the last time I was following or saw some of his stuff, it's like he runs every once in a blue moon because it takes so long to get his stuff done. But when
Yeah.
he does, it's like a fucking full
oh
on
yeah, no,
experience.
it's like
I mean,
a full table.
At one point,
Everything
it was
is-
weekly.
Yeah.
It was maybe every 2 weeks, and then it was just
That's cool.
one of his friends left, so
yeah.
he moved. So
and then
it-
COVID also happens.
yeah,
That
and
fucked
so
everything up,
yeah, he slowed down, which like yeah, it probably was. It's a little bit less than a blue moon because yeah, there's like some like I mean I would say I do blue moon. I'm definitely blue moon type.
You are.
I'm
You do
like,
run
your
like
ass
every
is
once in
blue,
a
man.
while. Yeah. Your ass is blue.
But
You know what else is blue?
you know what else? is blue?
You know what else is
Blue
blue and
chew.
help things go in your ass?
I mean, I feel like you're making up the blue tube, but I'm guessing it's what's actually called.
No, Blue
Blue
Chew,
Chew's
yeah,
real.
Blue Chew's real.
Yeah, I mean the blue.
I'm just
It sounds like you're trying to say Bluetooth. It's what I heard. I just don't know the concept, so I just heard Bluetooth.
Bluetooth.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's literally like it's like Viagra or some shit, but it's like I don't.
but not subsidized by the
It's
military.
literally like a blue gummy that you eat, from what I understand. It
It's
like
not-
tastes good,
it's not
and it's like
suppository?
why don't I just take
It tastes good. You know how it
like a
tastes.
No, I haven't had it before. I haven't had it before. But what,
He
I mean,
could've.
what I'm
good.
saying is
He
like,
could've.
it's like the whole point of it is like, oh yeah, it's this fun gummy that you can eat and it tastes good and you get rocket fucking hard. But it's like, why don't you just swallow a pill? Pills don't taste like anything.
Dude, people are like
just
that.
fucking-
He would do that.
I prefer gummies.
He
over
would
pills.
prefer gummies.
I hate fucking pills.
Yeah,
So you
I have
hate
no.
the
always
sec-
have to open them up, take them as
Yeah,
powder.
nothing to do with the Bluetooth
Oh shit,
thing.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
That
they're
shit's-
marketing towards him.
fuck.
they're not gonna get me.
No, I have no problems. I can sometimes don't use water Just like sometimes
Oh
I'm
yeah,
lazy.
yeah,
But like
Sure.
obviously I mostly use it.
yeah.
It-
Same.
yeah, you're
same.
like okay, fine, I'll use water.
Right.
But like yeah, I wouldn't do gummies.
Yeah.
I've had Flintstones gummies. It's fine, but like
It is
I'm not a gummy type.
Me neither. I like the pills are just
But
easy, like,
he
you take
definitely
5
like
every morning.
if he gets a pill, he powders it up and puts a line in it, and then he puts it in his drink.
he takes a razor.
Yeah, but then he puts it in his drink.
Yeah,
Oh,
you usually
okay.
put it in a drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's also I love by the way how you're like
I don't need Bluetooth.
Just for everybody to know, in this writing fantasy RPG podcast, hey, I can get it up, man. This is an important topic. I can get it up.
Wouldn't that be funny if we were sponsored this whole time? I should send this.
How?
and be like,
What do you mean, like retroactively?
Yeah, retroactively get sponsored for this episode.
You mean like? What do you mean, like a year from now? Because
Yep,
you
because
have an
we blow up
advertisement.
and we get really really popular. You know, we have Chris Perkins on.
Yeah, we'll blow up
Yeah.
after maybe like 1,000 of these. If
Hey,
it's consistent.
I'm down. I ain't going anywhere. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll see.
1,000 episodes. Let's make it
Yeah, it takes longer than you think, unless we do this actually weekly.
daily.
Yeah, if we do it daily and then just like hate each other very quickly. You're like, oh, you're talking about Brent. God damn it.
If you say Brandon Sanderson one more fucking time, I'm gonna fucking
And then
kill you.
at that time, Brandon Sanderson is a guest.
Then he's like that's the episode that we all lose it. We all like lose it.
I
in
get
each
it, he's
other.
right here.
What
there,
sort of
yeah.
nightmare world have you created suddenly where we both have guests like Brandon Sanderson and Chris Perkins
Right.
in the same content?
And then be like,
Yeah,
God damn it,
yeah.
I get he's here, but shut up.
Yeah, and we're screaming at each other. It looks like a failed marriage
Goodness.
throuple. Like,
Yeah. What were you talking about before?
yeah, what were we talking about?
I have no idea.
we just got
outline
really
stuff.
We've been
elevated
on a
it.
chain of tangents
Yeah.
for the majority of how long we've been
I like
recording.
tangents.
I was talking about my outline. Yeah, I
Yeah,
wrote one
yeah.
thing down.
Wow.
Oh, what would you write down? Can you read it?
Yeah,
He can't read right now.
I can't read that.
This is an audio
You
format.
can't.
Can't read it yet. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you
How
read,
could I?
read one word from it? And
That
not
is-
like
I
a-
only wrote
It's on
one word.
You almost got him with the thing.
Bluetooth's not gonna get me here.
I feel like those boxes require more than one word.
Depends.
Ooh.
Boxes are really there for just
I
evoking.
thought that was the word.
No, not depends.
Depends.
The boxes in a manner are just for evoking tags so that I can remember and understand where a scene might need to be.
Oh, okay.
They don't have to be necessarily fully scripted out because the idea is to take these all written, have 5 characters completely written with their beat sheets, all 15, then take all of them, strip them off. And
All right. Man, what's your
Hey,
mind?
good thing
then,
we're
too?
reaching the end of this episode because I think we need a quick break before we jump into another one because we've gone off the fucking rails,
Certainly.
man.
No, take that all and put it into an outline and actually then stagger it how it should chronologically all run.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
That sounds like another worksheet. Staggered.
It
Yeah,
is.
it's another
There,
worksheet.
there is another worksheet.
God damn. You're going to have a binder.
This
of
is how
shit.
the outlining works. There's people who are pantsers where you just do discovery writing and you just somehow make a perfectly coherent story.
Like
by the
Stephen
end of it.
King, who's like, yeah, it just fell into place.
Yeah,
You're like, yeah, okay.
He's just like, you take a character that's interesting and throw him into something and
you
do
take
stuff
a character
to
that's
him.
interesting.
Isn't that more of a script writing thing where you know a character so much you just throw them into situations anyways?
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, yeah.
I thought that's more of a script writing thing.
It's definitely a role playing game thing. It's definitely like a burning wheel
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah.
But that's because
You're
you know,
also discovering who your character is throughout.
you are discovering, but I feel like I don't know how effective discovery really is for writing something long term because every time I've used discovery to great effect, it's because it's a low stakes environment where it's like, yeah, at the end of the day, we're just a bunch of friends trying to do some cool shit and hang out.
Yeah.
You know, not like I need to make this because I need to leave a legacy or I need to make money or I have an idea that just must exist. You know, like that's a lot more. I'd be afraid to like do that in discovery. You know what I mean? Of just like fucking belting that out. I've tried.
That's why there's a revision process.
Yeah, I know. I never got there. I never got to the point where you throw it in the drawer and wait like 3 months or whatever. And then
Well,
read
it's
it
been
again.
in the drawer for as long as you haven't done this, so there you go.
That's a good point.
You're
that's a really
set
good
for your
point.
next
And
revision process.
I'm not gonna do it. I think I've mentioned like track mark stuff a couple times on here, like my
Yeah.
baby. I really don't think. I think I'm going to stop trying to make it a thing and just start like doing it, and then maybe eventually to become a thing. But it's been a brainchild for so long, and it hasn't been out on the table. And it's like maybe I should just focus on having fun with it and getting it out on the table first more before I even consider. And if I never make something out of it, that's fine.
I mean,
You
I've
know
thought
what I
about
mean?
doing that with this setting too.
Yeah.
Just trying to throw away any narrative scope and just run something adjacent
Mhm.
within the same setting and just see where it goes, see what
Yeah,
we
he's
come up
talking about
with.
that,
Yeah.
running it. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to run with it.
Another microscope.
I mean, honestly, the best emulation of Discovery writing is Dungeons and Dragons or role playing games
Yeah.
or Call of Cthulhu or Burning Wheel.
Mm-hmm.
All of those emulate exactly it like we said before. You as the author, the dungeon master, the game master, your audience, your favorites. You might have people in a game before that that they've been in games where you've run them before, and you'll have other new people who don't know exactly how to quite engage with a game yet. Yeah, you'll have other people that have played with you regularly that they've already done this, they've already experienced this. Let's throw something new at them.
Right.
And I know exactly what this sort of player likes and enjoys to play.
That's a really good point. That's a really
Yep. You crying
That's
over
a good
there?
point.
You don't hear, but he's crying.
Gassy. That's such a good. That's such a good.
He's crying
It
and
really
hard.
gets to the crux of the issue, like Blue Chew. No, I completely agree with that. I mean, Dragonlance is a perfect example of that to success, because Dragonlance was a long running campaign. Like, let's write a book about it, and now it's like a big fucking deal.
The known,
You know
yeah,
what I
the
mean?
known D&D stuff.
I've always
Yeah.
wanted to do Dragonlance because how that's supposed to be played is you playing those characters.
Really?
Specifically. Yes.
Oh,
yes. The
interesting.
original Dragonlance was you playing Raceland, you playing
Oh, that's
all the entire
cool.
crew.
That's really cool.
And really, it's been so long since I've had a committed game where you're having to step into something and understand it, rather than make it yourself and figure it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I actually, the reason why I've run so many games of Burning Wheel in the past month, and the reason why I feel like when we did our game on the island, it was really, really, really good, but I was not quite. I was like a hair's breadth away from really fully understanding it, and now I feel like
Yeah.
I'm actually. We have been, since we were playing at the Underground,
Yeah.
fucking 2013. I have been going prone and crawling and hobbling along trying to play Burning Wheel, and it's like now I'm finally walking. Now I'm finally in a stride, and a big part of that is what you're talking about, where I create characters ahead of time. I have a set of pre-mades that I use now, and I hand them out to people, and it's like, all right, I pretty much randomly come up with a situation on the spot. I have a method for doing it. I've been using it consistently every time, and I'm like, all right, write some beliefs about this, write some beliefs about each other, go. And it has been electrifying, and I am now like a total pre-made character convert for that reason. There really is something about stepping into shoes that already exist, but having enough room to put your own take on it, and then also not feeling like you have the stakes of, oh, but I really got to make sure this character goes trajectory or goes. It's we're all figuring out what happens.
Oh yeah.
Like-
When I've been handed a pre-made, I do so much more ridiculous shit.
yeah.
Than if I built it myself.
And I
'Cause
think
there's-
that's a positive
I've
thing.
got no connection of like I spent hours building this thing,
Right.
and all these thoughts that I had to weave together into something that I've then balanced appropriately to the fucking metrics of the game.
Exactly. Yeah, you're
It's
you're
just,
not as
oh, what's this? Oh, I'm a pirate captain. Okay, and I hate the person next to me. Okay, cool.
That's all I need.
Let's go.
Let's fucking go. And it's fucking magic. So I really want to lean hard into, and I mean I still have my long running games, but I'm going to lean hard into the pre-made characters and one shots things, especially for Burning Wheel, because it is, oh my god, dude. I've sat down with people. I literally sat down with people who have never played Burning Wheel or a role playing game at all in the past few months, and there's like, here's your character, here's what they believe. What do you think about this? I think about this. Cool, let's go. And they're like, I fucking got this. And it's like, what is this? What is this alchemy? What is happening? What is it? I found the philosopher's stone. You know what I
You
mean?
just
Like,
create different shaped vials and then allow a person to just pour themselves into it.
yeah. Oh, that's probably the most beautiful fucking thing that's ever been said on this podcast. That's beautiful. That's exactly what it is. And I really want to push that. To bring it back to track marks, what I'm probably going to do is make some pre-mades, break all the fucking rules, because I know how the characters work. Just be like, yeah, I'll just give them this, and this, and these are interesting. Here's these beliefs. And then just give them to people and be like, let's go. You know? And then not worry about the fact that it's like, oh, but I need it to be, you know, how am I going to publish this? What system am I going to put in? How am I going to write this? It's like, well, it doesn't matter if you're not fucking playing it.
Yeah,
You haven't been
that's a big
doing for
thing.
13 years,
Yeah.
you know? So, you know, maybe that's the alchemy I need. And if it never sees the light of day as its own product, so be it. But it's been... It
Oh
needs
no,
to be
yeah,
out
for
there,
track
you know?
marks,
Yeah.
I would definitely take some of those major scenes and stuff that you have and simply write them out as pre-mades and run it several times. See
Oh,
different
yeah.
people's incarnations of your ideas of your character.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
because
itchy
especially because it's all character driven. I want to see people play Digimon.
Mm.
I want to see people play Whitaker and Terg and like all these fucking people. Like it'll be really, really cool to see how that looks.
Oh, that's cool. That makes
Oh.
me want to run some pre-made character stuff.
Dude,
I've
if
had
you-
some ideas before.
You should. You absolutely should. And that'd be cool
I
as hell.
ran one for a group where it was I handed everyone a pre-made monster, and the entire thing was trying to fight heroes and adventurers out of their veil. They're
That's
like,
cool.
we've got a good monster balance, everything was going great. Then suddenly, while we're trying to fight and stuff, we got adventurers coming in and just wrecking shit. And they're like, we listen, we're all different, but we don't like this. Let's just get them the hell out of here so we can get back
so
to
you're
our
using like
monster
this edition, like
ways.
stat blocks.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, they were
that's
statted
really
characters
cool.
as monsters.
Okay.
I think is how it works.
I love that little twist. That's something that could only exist in a one shot, but the way that works is like I feel like there's way too much emphasis on the ongoing game. Not only is that harder to do as you're an adult, I think it's relatively easier for us because we want to do that.
Yeah.
But like it's harder and harder to get people to commit to something like that. So if you have something that's like, I've got a really cool idea, all the legwork's been done, let's just have some fun. Like that's cool. Especially because that's the type of thing you'd run at a con and
Yeah.
people would be like, I want to be at that table right now. You know what I mean? You
I
should
mean-
run some one shots. We should all run some
I
one
mean,
shots.
I remember the original Paizo Pathfinder adventure, the Goblins one. That just pre-made characters. You're just handing them. You're playing goblins.
Yep. Yeah.
That was I played in that one. That's one of the most fun times I've had at a
it
table.
kicks ass. Yeah.
And
yeah.
that's how I've heard it for every single person that's pretty much ever played one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you have like that guy at the table.
Right.
Oh, that guy.
That there he is. It's that guy.
It's that guy.
I mean, what I love about Burning Wheel is, but like, I love the fact that it doesn't matter how broken your character is. If you can have like the most powerful character, all this shit, but if your beliefs suck, or if you just don't have like a cool thing you want to do with your character, it doesn't matter. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter how strong you are.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like I think that's the reason why you get that guys is because they want to like assert some sort of raw power over the game, you know, because they don't have any of that in their own lives, so they can't like deal with the conflict and the tension and the terror and the tragedy, because it's like no, I'm playing this because I want to suppress all that, I want to overcome all that. So if you make it to where it's like, I'm sorry, there's literally no way to play this game except to interface with those things, I think is the cure. Yeah, it doesn't even have to be the system. Like the way you run D&D, period. It's like, you know, there no numbers on your sheets are gonna get you out of this one, baby. You just killed a bunch of orphans.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, having external stakes and external objectives really cuts through a lot of the bullshit of just, oh, are we better than them? It's, no, can you make the right decisions and do you have enough time? Typically?
Yeah.
Which are things that
Yeah.
you can't stat into a character.
No, you could do things faster, but that's not going to increase the amount of time you have.
Yeah.
You know, like that's a resource that's ticking down. Did you Oh, I thought you stopped it and then started it again. I thought it said 2 minutes, and I'm like, where
No,
did it?
I mean, we could take a break.
Do we feel like it's
Yeah, let's take an ad break.
Let's take an ad break.